Welcome to this edition of the G-Spot. G-Spot stands for Genius, Grace and Greatness, and it's hosted by the House of Preeminence magazine and myself, Jenny P. My guest today is going to be sharing with you all about money. Stay tuned. Money, 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 money. Money with lots and lots and lots of noughts after it. And there are few people that I've met who are so qualified to talk about scaling business. My next guest is a multi-accomplished serial entrepreneur. She's built a 9-figure financial advisory company. She has scaled and been inducted into the Millionaire Club of network marketing. She is a speaker. She has helped thousands of people all over the world. She has created foundations for helping people's financial literacy, especially women, and so many other accomplishments. And she's just beautiful, and she's all in pink. And I've got the pink out today to welcome the pink millionaire, Dame Nicola Smith Jackson.
Hi, how are you? I thank you so much for having me here today, Jenny. It's an honor to be here. You know, I'm so ready to share and so glad to be with you again.
It's mutual. We had a wonderful conversation where we just literally got on and put the world to rights.
Absolutely.
But we put the world to rights, and what we really, really want for our listeners is to, in this time when the world is starting to open up again, albeit really messily, like it's pretty messy, but nevertheless, we are starting to get out. We are starting to think that dreams are possible again, and that events are possible again, and that we can build things again. So we're going to ground into what it really takes. In spite of what's happening in the world, we're going to ground into what it really takes to achieve your biggest, boldest dreams. And I'm going to let Nicola, first of all, share some of her story, because she was never going to be destined to achieve the financial freedom that she has. It's actually incredible what she overcame and her trajectory. And so be inspired. Nicola, tell us how you really went from a struggling hairdresser to this absolutely gorgeous pink business titan.
Well, thank you. I can tell you, even when I hear people describe, my story, or when you look at the bio, what have you, who's behind that? A person, right? And you can put words in print, but it's my life. And it was never attributed to being lucky. It was never attributed to being destined to be great. As a matter of fact, probably quite the opposite. And, I'm that girl that was born into a immigrant family who came, they traveled to America, different avenues of getting to America for a better life for themselves. Obviously, before I was before I was even thought of by them. But obviously, I believe I was thought of by God. And I attribute all of my being to me understanding my identity with my Creator. And I will tell you, other than me holding on to that, what I just shared, I would have just been a train wreck. And I would have been probably a statistic of another woman who probably made mistakes like all of us have, and who ended up in a lot of self-inflicted pain. By the time of 23, I had buried 3 children. And that was as a result of a lot of stress, right? 23 and pregnant is already something else, way too young. I had quit college, total opposite of what the dream to my family was. And I probably, if I was like part of a royal family, I probably would have been ousted. I don't know, because it was just against the grain. However, I was able to turn all of those pains of, even as a woman, not even being able to carry a child, being told by doctors, like, your womb is incompetent and you can't do that, to having now a child that is disabled. He'll be 24 at the time of this video. He's never walked a day in his life, to birthing a full-term baby in my later 30s. And that in itself was a turning point for me. I literally had been in business, a hairstylist, and I followed the footsteps of my mom, who came out of corporate America, and I was her assistant and everything. And I loved hair, fashion, those things that excite most women. But as a career, it was down. It was like, no, you that's not what I want you to do. We didn't come all the way to America for you to become a hairstylist. You're going to be an attorney. You're going to be, something else. And I was studious, but I wasn't compliant. School really wasn't for me. It could be for other people, but traditional school as we know it. And that's partially of why I started really seeking what I wanted, which was, I wanted way more than I'd ever seen around anyone around me. But it seemed like it was so far off. It was a dream. And what am I telling you? Overworked hairstylist, had children out of wedlock, got married, had my first child within wedlock, did what people told me I could never do before, which was just have a full-term baby, things that many people just take for granted. And in my mind, I started telling myself, if I could do that, through me telling myself every single day that I was going to have a full-term baby, healthy, and my life was going to be great, so far from what it was, a hot mess, to delivering that full-term baby with a 99 APGAR score. And then I began to believe that whatever we tell ourselves is true. No matter what we're seeing around us, whatever anyone tells us about ourselves, it all boils down to what you tell yourself is true. And I began to just tell myself different things. All I can tell you, burying those 3 children was the best thing that could ever happen to me and for hundreds of thousands of other people that I've touched their lives, because me understanding death helped me really get clear on life. And I wanted everything that life had to offer. And I'm like, I sure didn't want life being broke. I defied a lot of things that I was told, that I saw. And I started using some principles that were generalized principles, scientific principles, mathematical principles. And it was a little seed at the beginning, and then I started seeing it grow. And I just started telling myself to believe more what I wanted versus believe what I was seeing.
That experience of death so early in your life, especially your children, because I can't think of anything worse than losing a child.
Yes.
It gave you this conviction in yourself that has enabled you to take it into every single part of your life. So I really love to know what, when you talk about God and faith, because I know that faith is very, very central to your path and to your success, and it means so much to different people. But in this time, when the idea of faith and the divine is expanding, and we know about these universal principles that you refer to. Tell us what was the energy and the power and the conviction and the beliefs that you have stood the shoulders on.
Well, I can tell you one thing, that faith is only believing what you can't see with the naked eye is still there. That's what we want to do. I'm not a religious person. I'm totally a spiritual person, because I find the reason why I would make the distinction of me not being a religious person is that religion is going to now take you into a place where now you're having to believe what someone else has seen versus believe what's possible for you. Believe what someone else understands versus what you're seeking to understand for yourself. And because honestly, if I were going to religion, it would tell me that what I am saying is not actually possible for me. So my faith and idea of me getting connected to God, I ask, seek, and knock. Matthew 7:7 is what I stood on. And it was about simply, you don't even have to be a Bible reader to stand by this principle, but you can believe it, that when you ask, seek, and knock, doors will be open to you. And all you got to think about is what doors are closed, and ask, seek, and knock at those doors. And so what doors that seemed to be closed to me was, I described me being able to carry a full-term baby, have a beautiful family now. I've birthed 3 children. They're alive, they're healthy, they're amazing. What doors was closed to me was peace in the midst of all of those storms. So I started knocking on that door of peace in the midst of a storm every day. And then I started knocking on the doors of saying, what would give me more time or freedom to seek that peace and have more time with my family? I needed money, because that's what was interrupting my peace and time for family, was money. I was having to go out to go and get money. I was having to go out to earn money that I had found was limited. I said, listen, there's only still 24 hours in a day. So when I say that overworked hairstyles, that was me working 12, 14 hours a day. As long as the clients were coming, I was working. But that meant that I'm not omnipresent like God, right? So that means that when I was at work, I was absent from my family. I was absent from time with God. I was absent from just those moments of peace. And something just wasn't in sync with me with that. So I started praying and asking for, how do I have more money and more time? I learned about an industry that many people have their own ideals about, but it's the industry that helped me create my first liquid $1 million. And it's a network marketing industry. It's nowhere you go to school for it. So it doesn't have the credentials that most people would say, but let me tell you what it did for me. What it did for me is it helped me really know what I was made of. It helped me identify rejection, that when rejection was coming from the outside, where people weren't accepting what I was doing to make an honest living for my family, I had to identify, was I identifying with that rejection that they were giving to me about what I'm trying to do as an honest living for my family? In the moment, I'm like, no, there could be nothing wrong with this, because I'm able to have more time with my family, because I'm able to even pay someone to do some of the things that was taking me away from my family. I was able to pay someone to do housework, pay someone to do, even cooking if I needed to. I was able to have better vacation, better things, what people want, right? What do you go get money for? People are working so that they could, pay bills? That's not life. It's what happens after the bills. That's what I wanted. And I discovered that industry. But what I also discovered in that industry was that I had to develop myself in order to be better for anyone else. The biggest thing I took away, that I gave that gift to everyone on how we built this multi-million-dollar business, was through giving people that gift of, you do have an identity outside of what people have told you. You can adopt the belief that you too deserve much more than where you are. And you're gonna have to go through the storms and the tests to get there. And we didn't build a business seeking money, we seek freedom, autonomy, choices. That we didn't have to go along with status quo. For any area of our life, if you can show a person they can change one area of their life and you apply principles to how that change happened, they have hope they can change any area of their life, including money. It's just an area, it's not all. But it's a vital area, just like your health is a vital area. And that's what we took on. And I say we, because it can't be me or I if you're looking to make contribution. It was we took on an identity of making choices and making choices that was for better experiences and wholeheartedly living that choice.
Mm. I love that. I love that idea of earn as you learn, and that your capacity to attract and generate and manage revenue is exactly as much as you're prepared to grow and keep growing, and that takes such humility and such courage, which you demonstrated, and I love the way that it gave you such clarity. You feel so clear that you identified that if you grew in those areas, that you know that the freedom and the autonomy and the choices and all of that would grow with it, which is really the philosophy of Preeminence magazine as well. So we are absolutely grounded in that, because growth is everything. So what I know that you've made a millionaires club. You are creating legacy foundations at the moment to really make an impact with financial literacy.
Yes.
But for say the average female entrepreneur out there who's on her way to 6 figures, scaling from 6 figures to 7, just starting, believes in her journey. There are so many, even like so many more now since COVID. It's like the world is just full of entrepreneurs everywhere. Is with all of this insight, this insight that you have now, is what would you have told your younger self?
Yeah. The first thing I would have told my younger self, and I would say that it's absolutely natural to have the chaos before the certainty. That's absolutely natural. The uncertainty where things doesn't seem like everything is in sync, right? But it has to get its bearing. So the chaos before the certainty is necessary, because you got to know the difference between the two, number one. The second thing that I would say is that making money is just the first step. You have to learn how to manage it and then multiply it. Because financial literacy is not just about understanding budgeting or penny pinching and things like that. It's really being able to understand money so you can manage it and grow it to last you a lifetime. So that therefore you will never be in a position. You have so many has-beens where women or even men or whoever, they get to a place where they have these, what they call like these years of where they were fruitful. And then now they get older and something happened where, number one, they say, oh, the money didn't last. Number one, of course, inflation is going to happen, right? Money was not ever designed to stay stagnant. That's why it's called currency. So then now you don't have the money being managed and moved into places that will make it grow. I would tell myself that making money was the first step. I must manage it and multiply. And that comes from identifying, getting super clear on what do you really value. Sometimes you get caught up in the hype. And what I mean by that is you literally will get caught up into a place where your values are influenced by others other than what we were talking about earlier. What we're discussing is knowing what you value. I value the freedom and the autonomy. So that means that your money needs to be managed to take you towards freedom and autonomy. But that's not typically what we do with our money when we make it. When we make the money, we take the money and we do things that bind us, go into whether unnecessary debt, whether we go into spending money on things that will make us look or feel rich for the moment, but not necessarily making you rich for the moment or later. So getting clear on what did you value would have been what I would have said to myself. And I was valuing, just like I shared, was the freedom and the autonomy. I needed choices. So that even when the shakeup happens, because I've been through 2 recessionary periods. One was the 2008, recession that rolled into when I learned about network marketing. And then now this next one, which was the pandemic. When you begin to understand what you value and you literally put your money in places to where you're managing it and you're multiplying it for what you value, it doesn't matter what's happening to the economy. It will not affect you. As a matter of fact, people who understand that and they put their money in those places, they typically grow in down economies. It becomes almost the opposite of what you're hearing. I love to tell people that everyone did not experience bad financial times during the downturn. And that's what I told myself when I said, hey, I need more money. Everyone is not broke. Everyone is not overworked. Everyone is not. I need to identify who's doing that. And I need to position myself in those places so I can learn what they're doing. Why? Because I valued growth. So I put my money into growth. I started investing in personal development, going to places where people say no. I love to hear opposite of what the masses are saying. So I started investing in going into personal development, money management courses, licensing, different things. I put my money into myself to learn more about what I said I wanted more of. Most people don't do that. They just want to ear hustle. They don't want to immerse themselves or become really intentional about managing and multiplying money. And it's something that if you ignore and you're not intentional about it, then you will have or go on the high roller coasters of economies' natural cycles. Economies have gone up and down since the beginning of the ages. It's actually how we come into new financial eras. It's how we move from the industrial age to where we are now in the techno-informational partnership age where we are financially. It's how you do that. It's through downturns of economy. That's where people make shifts and changes. That's what creates new eras. It's necessary. Our perception of these things makes a huge difference.
That's a gem, that association with the investment with your values. I think there's something energetically beautifully aligned with that. I totally get that. I really get that. And for those listening, because your words are like, they're just like diamonds. How, at what point in the entrepreneurial journey should female entrepreneurs start thinking about this? Because you're right, up to a certain point, they will naturally, when they start to generate the consistent income at levels that make them happy, the natural thing is to go out and spend it and
Yes.
buy the trappings and hire a team and all of those things. So and the idea of this freedom that comes with making your money work for you is so mature, I would say. So at what point in the entrepreneurial journey can we do that? Can we do it once we can like cover all of our expenses easily, and then we can start thinking about that? Should we do it now? Should we wait to the first million? Is like, what point can you really start doing that?
I would say right now. I would say right now. And let me tell you, this is what we talk about in Pink Millionaire Club. We do think that that's some of those lies that we believe, that, you do that later. When if we understood what we were talking about, like a generalized principle of building wealth, which is compounding, it's the earlier you start, the bigger it becomes, right? So it's you start it now. As a matter of fact, that if you were starting to invest even $1,000 a year at age 20, putting it at an average of even 7% interest compounding, by the time you're age 60, you're already a millionaire. Like, it would make millionaire status not so mystical. It would be so inevitable. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to budget to build wealth. And I train this in Pink Millionaire Club. And I let them know that just like how you're budgeting to manage your household bills, right? And how some things are non-negotiable, like paying your rent or your mortgage, or paying your utilities, it needs to be non-negotiable about investing your money. It's not about how much you're investing. Obviously, the more you're investing with the higher interest, it's a bigger yield. However, it's the fact that you are investing, because what most people are doing is not investing. And so you're releasing every possibility of growth. Okay. So it's a progression, and you start where you are. What I tell people is that you have this huge build of wealth. Now you have your active income, whether it's a business or a job or what have you. That's the thing that requires your energy, your time. You're trading your energy for time. And then now you need to be investing in things to scale. When you're scaling, that's where that active income to incorporate some kind of passive income, where that business will start to earn money for you, even if you don't have your hands on it 100%. Network marketing help people with that. But there are a lot of businesses that help people with that. You could be a coach, and then later on, now you start to scale to online with funnels. And then now that can create some sort of, passive income, meaning you're not having to work it every single day, right? You get that. So now you take the money, a part of the money that you're earning, whether active or passive, and you put it in something where the money is making money. You can purchase fractional stocks. You can invest with insurance that actually builds wealth, not just for when you die. And these are tax advantage things. You can start a retirement plan. The earlier, the better, and invest every single month off the top. If you're in business and your expenses are matching if your expenses is automatically matching, you're zeroing out, that's a warning sign that you need to be looking at your business model. And number one, maybe you need to change it, or you need to see where the money is in your business model to give yourself a raise. Why are we looking for permission to give ourselves a raise? You get in an industry where the era is demanding, not just inquiring, they're demanding what you're offering. And again, you put the money you have into that. And you put passion in everything with it, and you put consistency with it, and you put commitment to it and faith, it's going to yield. But have we done that? Or do we want to just stay with the industry that we were in, that we haven't paid attention that the era has changed? You can stay in the same industry, but are you moving with what the industry is doing? Growth. That's why you have to invest in yourself. Getting in these atmosphere where they say, hey, this is where the money at. I was in the hair industry, and I saw that the money was going in a different direction. And I said, hey, I can either choose that. Am I going to be teaching this? Because we were moving to the informational age. Am I going to be teaching other cosmetologists this or whatever? And I kind of thought about that for a moment. Then I said, no, what about me doing my passion? What about me just teaching, period? Well, we're an industry. The marketing industry didn't need any prerequisites, and I was able to teach my life experiences and attach that now to a product, because people are buying brands, they're buying stories. And now with that there, you may start first with the labor, the active income. I got to get on every day and do whatever. That's what I did every day. And to where now I build up other people. And I literally multiple 6 figures every single month without me lifting a finger. That gave me more options. I can do the same principle, and I use it with Pink Millionaire Club. And so now I'm teaching women how to find and uncover those things in their current business, but non-negotiable. Pay yourself first with interest. It's not about how much you're doing, it's that you're doing it. And the more money you earn, you can add on that. It's about consistency. And then now you begin to use leverage, leveraging other people's money, other people's relationships, resources in a collaborative way. And then now you're able to have passive income from the business, and you got more money to put in because it doesn't require all of your energy to do so.
Yeah, that's such a core passion of mine, always has been, and certainly in this particular July issue is about getting paid to be you. And I love the way that you decided that your life story was already had enough immensity in itself, and you just had to be you and share that, and share the learning and the growth that you had with other people, and to generate, to help them generate wealth as well.
Absolutely. And I turned that into a system. Why? Because everyone can do it. Why? Because everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. People are compelled to listen to the person who's struggling, that will not give up, because they're looking for that strength. And so that's all they're looking for. Is they don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to have it all together. They just need to see that you're on the journey, to encourage them to stay on their journey. And then they apply it to systems. This is not new stuff. Compounding and leveraging works with numbers, whether you're talking about money, apples, oranges, trees, it doesn't matter, it's gonna work. And so you apply that to whatever business that you say you can put your heart in, that you can believe, that you can have faith in, even when you're not seeing what you wanna see. Because see, that's the thing, when we go back to the faith, is you've gotta believe what it is going to be before you see it. And you're moving to what your beliefs are. And that's what we're doing every day anyway. If you believe you can't, you're not moving towards what you can. We know this to be true. You listening to this, you know this to be true. But let me tell you what is also true. You can just decide differently right now, like I did after people told me I couldn't have a baby. Like I did after people told me that network marketing wasn't going to work. Like I did after they told me, you can't be a Black girl talking about money and people want to hear what you have to say. And here I am all over the world being asked to say, what do you have to say? Why? Because the results speak for itself, but you can't have results if you quit or you stop. That's why the identity means everything.
Totally, totally. So at this time now, where you are, Nicola, I guess my question is, it would be so easy to stop. It would be so easy to go, okay, I've got that figured. I can make my money work for me. So what is the passion for what you're doing that keeps you expanding and that keeps you, you know, showing up a different version of this story?
Well, I can tell you, Jennifer, the first thing is when I begin to realize what am I really passionate about, right? And then find that thing. And there's things, there's exercises I take people through, because self-discovery is the best discovery. No one needs to tell you who you are. You have to discover who you are. You know, Pink, discover the power within. All of us have that. When you think about the P in Pink, discover the power within, I discovered I was passionate about helping people win. I have a power to make someone get up off the seat when they feel like they didn't want to do anything. And I'm like, oh, I love that. That is fulfilling to me. It can't just only be you giving out one way. It does have to have some reciprocity to your soul. It's fulfilling to me to see something go from one place to the other, or something small and grow. Why? Because I was able to grow kids that came home from ICU on heart monitors and all sorts of things. And I see them grow, and they're grown, and they're married and on their own and everything, you know? So I said, oh, I love that. I love to see people grow. Then now when we begin to think about impact, that conflict that we have within ourselves, and then eventually you overcome. One is going to overcome the other. You get to choose. But making a difference, the I in Pink Millionaire Club. And then nurturing yourself. When you treat yourself good, you can treat others good. Most people can't treat others good because they don't feel good on the inside. So that self-care, that mindset, and yes, having money so you have choices. You know you deserve it. When you treat yourself good and you nurture yourself, you know you deserve more. You want more. And then you can show other people, it's okay for you to have more. You don't have to be jealous when you see other people have more, because you know that you can have more too. But you got to apply the knowledge, and that comes from environments of growth, mentorship, people that will interrupt the thought patterns that's telling you you can't do it. Course correction when you might be going one way. You have to have models, proven models. And that's how Pink Millionaire Club was birthed. And I went through all of that. I had the domain name for way longer and made a pit stop. It wasn't bad. I mean, I helped people, you know, learn about personal financial literacy, but I wanted people to be financially intelligent, to take that money and know where to put those monies to grow, to still be able to enjoy life. I don't want you to live like a pauper. I need you to still enjoy beautiful things while building your wealth. A little bit different than what I hear people say, hey, you don't have to be debt free and down. I don't believe in that. You have to leverage other people's money. You got to know how to use it responsibly, because anything you don't know the use of, abuse will occur. I learned that from one of my mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, who also told me, Nicola, your purpose is to help others become successful. And I'm like, I didn't identify with that at first. I'm like, I'm trying to become successful. And then I had some success and it was something missing. But when I saw my team growing, single moms becoming multiple six-figure earners, people who were using Uber to go to work, becoming seven-figure earners and whatever, I started saying, I love to sit back and watch that even better. And I turned it into not a business, it's my life's work that I so happen to be compensated well in my soul and financially. And it's okay. And those two worlds can not collide, but coincide with each other. Doing what you love and making money is good. Money is good. I could not create a foundation to feed people, help people, if I didn't have money. I couldn't do much good where people need it the most right now. It's fulfilling, and everyone deserves that.
Yeah, that's definitely a mic drop moment, that one. It really is. They do go together. And I'd just like to come back to the feminine aspect, because I know that it's something that touches you particularly, and obviously our audience, because they're mostly women. Is what is it in this whole equation of scaling and leveraging and allowing ourselves really to be compensated for who we are, that women struggle with so much?
Yes, women want to feel desired, right? It doesn't matter if it's from a man, whatever. You want to feel loved. You want to feel great. But are you able to do that when you're stressed out and too busy to even pamper yourself? Or, do you feel good when, even if you're cooking for your family and you're having to make these only quick meals because you just don't have time? I love to cook and I love to serve my family. Right now, as we're speaking, I'm a basketball mom, and half of the basketball team been with us nearly, it's going to be 3 weeks now. And you don't even hear them. You don't see them, because we have enough room that they're in the area of the house and they've been able to work out and play together. And they crushed it on the basketball court. And I am the basketball mom. Having time for that, and then still being able to get prettied up and, curl up in our theater room with my bae, my husband of 15 years that we met 17 years ago, and while he's going out to build his construction company and I'm still home, I'm still able to be home. And he loves the idea that I'm home, but I'm still a contributor. And my husband didn't try to dominate me or boss me around, because I'm a contributor. And so you can still have femininity and still hold your power. Isn't it feminine to have laughter and to, be able to joke around? How would you be able to feel or touch into your femininity unless we're only doing it for moments with meditation? No, it should be the whole day, whenever you want it. And that's what I'm helping women deserve. Do you have tough days? Absolutely, you're supposed to. But then you can say, I'm bouncing back, baby. Okay, I get to take a break. I get to choose, I'm taking a break. Not when someone else chooses you take a break. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to even be able to afford the proper nutrition and food and all those things, right? Have you checked out how much it costs to eat healthy nowadays? A lot. You're like, oh, you can grow your own garden. Well, what time are you going to have to do your garden if you're always chasing money? All of these things go together.
They do. It is a holistic formula. So what's next for you? I can hear the passion in spreading your message further and further, and it is a message that women and men actually, but that people need to hear so much. And I'm going to say what I said to you when we met last week, is you're such a breath of fresh air. Is because you make it so you're, well, first of all, you're so beautiful and human that people can relate to you, and you're not some kind of guru where people are always thinking like it's me and them, which is really, really important. And that your story, just, you're like, okay, she can do it, I can do it. I was like, show me the way. Let's go.
It's we, ours, us. It's we, ours, us. Everyone wants collaboration. That's no race, color, gender, creed. That's a human need. And I want to show women, especially because women right now, it's our time. Real men, they accept that and they acknowledge it and they're supporting it. And men might say, well, that's offensive. Well, listen, everyone has their time. Everyone has their era. And this is a time where people are hurt, that they need the feminine energy that can nurture, that can love, but still go out there. I mean, even in nature, it's the lioness that goes out and hunt, but still the cubs come from the lioness. So it's not so unnatural for this time right now. And so I am expanding different levels where people can be a part of, you know, the whole pink movement at whatever level they are at. Within them understanding if they value themselves, they'll invest in themselves. And it's not only me, they're going to be surrounded around other people who would support them. And then I share my resources. I share what I've learned about how to save on taxes and how to save on different things so that you have more money. I show how to have choices where you feel like there's no way out of something. And we even help you with the health deal, because sometimes the way we feel is not always a circumstance. Sometimes we're just off balance in our bodies, you know, and we just don't even know those things exist, you know, as you are aging from 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, wherever, things change. And not only in here, but really biologically. And they all go together because you're only one person. You're with yourself everywhere. And so it matters that you're with yourself in a good way. It's a waste of time to sit around worrying about money when there's so many ways for you to earn money right now, grow money right now. I just feel like it just doesn't make any sense. You just gotta get in the right circles.
Get in the right circles. Absolutely. Absolutely, Nicola. So we are going to share all the links so that people can follow up on this incredible conversation, find out more about you, find out about your resources, find out about the Pink Millionaire Club. And I want to ask you one final question before we wrap this up. And it's what does preeminence mean to you?
Preeminence means to me being present and authentic and good to yourself and others, not sometimes, but all the time.
That's beautiful. And it's very true, because preeminence actually really, really means being your best you, having the most fun, and what we want to do when we're the best us, having the most fun is share it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you, my dame, Nicola. This has been such a beautiful, beautiful conversation and a beautiful sharing of your wisdom and your story that I am going to have absolute delight in sharing and putting out in the world. And I really bless you for the work that you're doing. It is incredible. It is so inspiring to see the trajectory that you've made, and to see the impact you're making, and your words are just like crystal clear. They're just so beautiful. There's no fuzziness. It's just really clear. So I hope that all of our listeners, readers, everybody who hears this, watches this interview, is inspired by this uplifting, because this is right the time when we really, really need to hear it as well.
Yes, you want to be pink. It's not a color. It's a state of being. It's who you are. And if you don't feel like that, come hang out with me, because it'll be who you'll become.
I love that. Pink is a way of being, and we are definitely, that's a keeper.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicola.
Thank
You're
you.
such a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Jen.